How much did you get in total?
It was R1 million, you can say.
R1 million.
R1 million, yeah, because the claim was worth 1.4 million, 25,000.
Yeah.
The lawyers took 425,000. People were aware because they could see, like, this man just had nothing the other day and now he's like just buying this and buying that. I love clothes, so that's the first thing I did. Was like I was shopping at Spitz.
Some of the money you were spending it on your mom, is that where most of the money went to?
No, sir. Most of the money went into Monte Casino and Gold City.
Are you able to estimate the amount of money that you spent in gambling?
I think it could have been over 500k. This is where I think spiritual practices also come into play, you know.
Brother man, how are you?
Well, thanks in yourself, Justice.
Good to see you.
Likewise, my brother.
Yeah, tell me about yourself. Who are you and where are you from?
I'm Charlie. I'm from Bosmont originally.
Okay.
I'm now residing in Lefureng. The area is fairly new to me. Changes, I'm grateful for the changes. You know, from where I've been, it's not as peaceful as what it is in Lefureng.
Yeah.
Lots of gang-related area. I'm from Bosmont, Westbury area. That's where I'm from, sir.
Yeah. How is it like staying in Lefureng?
It's very peaceful. Lots of changes. Like I said, this level of crime isn't as high as what it is in the area that I'm originally from. And I'm grateful for that, you know. And also it's a new community. The majority of people staying around there is government officials. So hence I say the level of crime isn't as much as it is in where I'm from originally, you know.
In Boston?
Bosmont.
Oh, Bosmont.
Bosmont, yes.
Oh.
It's also in the Western Roodepoort. It's close to Westbury, an area called Westbury.
Okay.
That's where I'm from, sir.
Is it a colored community?
Yes, it is a colored community, sir. So where I'm at, it's a black community, so I'm grateful for that, you know. There's less of my people in the area, so it's easy for me to adapt as well, you know.
Yeah. How is it like staying there in Bosmont? Because you speak about, there's a lot of gangs there. Probably you don't even go by a day without hearing a gunshot by chance.
That's correct, sir. That's correct. It's not a very safe area. It started off when, I remember in the 90s growing up there, it wasn't as bad as what it is now, you know. It has escalated in terms of gang violence and stuff like that. I've lost close friends as well. And hence I say that I am grateful for the change, you know. I often sit with myself and I ask myself, like, if I had still been staying there, you know, not to speak about other people and stuff, but people that I grew up, when I look at their lives, not comparing it, I'm just saying, you know, that I can see the difference now in time. You know, one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned in life is how to manage your time, you know. People are, like, especially with money-related issues, we want certain things, but it's how you actually portray what you're doing with yourself now, you know. How you utilize your time is very important. It actually builds, how do I put this to you? It creates everything later on, you know what I'm saying? So how you utilize it now helps for the future purposes.
Yeah.
And that's what I've also learned in this last 5-6 years, you know.
Yeah.
It's managing your time. It's the most important thing, because it's not something that you can buy. You know, you can use time, but it's not. You can't buy it. You know, so how you use it is very important. It determines your outcome later on.
Yeah. You know, I've always been asking myself. I've been to Cape Town. There's a certain area, the Cape Flats.
Yes.
A very dangerous place.
Yes,
I was told not to go there because I wanted to shoot something there.
Okay.
And I've been asking myself, how do gangs get to evolve? You know, does it start with just one gang, or maybe it's people just decide to, within a gang, it's like a political party, they decide to separate, and now there's two gangs.
I think what actually happens is, it's related to, sometimes it's family related, but it's got to do with power, you know. And it's obviously there's drugs related. It's got to do with drugs related. So what happens is you said that they separate, these gangs separate. So it's always got, it's most of the time it's got to do with dominance, you know.
Okay.
One wanting to be above the other, and that's where separation comes in. You know, and for me, I think it's all got to do with money. People just, I think when you have money, you have power, they say. I do see it in everyday lifestyles of people, you know, that something that you find difficult to attain when your pocket is empty, and when you have something in your pocket, it isn't as difficult. And it's sad to say that society, this is society, you know. And just to answer your question there, you said that how did it, growing up, how did it...
Yeah.
For me, I'm learning now to, because I've been exposed to a lot of violence, you know. So I'm learning to fight with my tongue, if I can put it to you that way, you know. I do a lot of reading, scripture reading, spiritual, like Bible-related stuff. That's helping me a lot lately, say for the last 3 years or so. And I'm learning to counter every situation with my tongue, you know, rather than with my hands or any other way, you know. It's a patient game because it's not always the best outcome. People think you're weak, and that was my weakness. Was I didn't want the next man to feel that I'm like put under the table, you know, by your presence or whatever the case may be. So that I'm learning, like I said to you, it's a new community, and I'm grateful that I'm not staying. Not that I have anything against colored people. But like with black people, they're very patient with each other. I'm learning that, you know, and they, even though things might be hard, I do see a lot of unity, regardless of, and in our communities, it's not like that, you know. I don't know if it's the same in black communities, but, and that's what I'm grateful for, is a change, you know. I'm learning to love with myself and meeting new people constantly and new ways of doing things, you know. It is a bit of a patient task, but it's really helping me improve my lifestyle a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and managing my time as well, you know, is very important. What I do with my time, I try not idolize time, which helps me a lot, you know, shape my life as well.
And how long did you stay in Bosman?
I stayed in Bosman we sold that house in 2010. I stayed there for 24 years.
24 years?
24 years, yes.
Probably at some point you were approached by gang members to join a gang, eh?
I would say so. I would say so, yes. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't say I was sitting on the fence, but I took a step from that, and I looked back, and there was too much, how do I put it to you, there's a lot of sacrifice that you put into that, you know, like it's easy to join in, but like leaving it is something else, you know. And when I look at people that's now in that type of lifestyle, you know, they in and out of prison, and I'm grateful that I never put everything into it, you know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was part of a gang or anything of that sort, but I knew people that I was in school with. As I said earlier, that there are close people that I know that's now passed on and stuff. And I thank God that I didn't jump into that decision, you know. I wasn't hasty about it, and I'd rather look like a scaredy cat, if you can put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say I was part of any of those things. But yes, I loved around, closely related to people that was deep inside this type of lifestyle. And I don't think it's a lifestyle for anybody, you know. It's you don't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, I'm grateful for that, sir.
You know, behind the scenes, you were telling me that you would like something. Obviously, you are employed Monday to Friday, but during the weekends,
yes, sir.
You would like to get something, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure it hasn't been easy for you to get that something.
No, not at all.
And to me, it's like, you know, a job is very difficult to find,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
But with a gang, you're saying it's very easy to enter, but it's difficult to leave.
That's correct, sir.
How it's so difficult for a person to leave a gang? Do you have to sort of unalive a person or do you have to sort of achieve a certain mission?
I think, like, just to add on to the point there, like achieving a certain mission, I think that's where it gets tricky, you know. The more you get deeper into it, like achieving a mission would be you actually tying yourself up more to the gang, because then now people know what you did, and you know, there's when we speak about gangs, there's a thing called like a circle where certain things don't get spoken about and that type of thing. So I think the more you do for the gang, I think the more you tie yourself down to that type of lifestyle, you know. People are dependent on you. The more you do for the gang and stuff like that. Not even the people in the gang, I think the communities around there, because when these things are happening, people are seeing what's going on, you know. And obviously there's people that have kids that they don't agree with that type of lifestyle. So some people get paid to keep quiet and that, you know, so things do get thrown under the rug. And as much as, like you were saying, being tied up to the gang, you know, so the more you actually do for the gang, I think that's where the tricky part comes in, you know. People are dependent on you and they see you now as this person, you know. And to get away from that again, I mean, to change how people see you after a certain period of time, I don't think it's very easy, you know, to change from that.
You know, as I was saying about Cape Town, somebody was telling me that even young kids join gangs.
Yes, that's correct.
A kid who's 14-year-old, 13-year-old can join a gang and unalive a person.
That's correct, sir.
How crazy is that?
That's correct. And, you know, just to add on to what you're saying, with the youth is especially in Cape Town, they're exposed to this type of thing more than adult, you know. It's like when you join a football team, you know, you don't want to be a Madala. They don't want, not going to take you on as a Madala, you know what I'm saying? The same sort of structure happens gang-related, you know. They want younger guys that's, especially with a mind, you know, you don't know as much as you know when you're older. So even when you come to reasoning with things that they're telling you, it's easy for you just to accept it and do it, you know. They do use youngsters for its example. I'm not sure if you've seen 2 weeks ago, there was somebody shot in Westbury, a lady, 37 years of age.
Yeah.
We don't know for what reason, but this is what happens. I mean, for somebody that's my age to pick up a gun and shoot somebody of the opposite sex, it's going to take a lot of brainwashing for me to do something like that, you know, at my age. But for a youngster, if you offer a youngster a 5K to buy himself an outfit, he wouldn't give it thought, you know. So that's where using the youngsters comes in with those gangs and stuff. So yes, it is quite scary, especially Cape Town. I think Cape Town is a lot worse than what Johannesburg is.
Yeah.
That's correct, sir.
Who are some of the people that you lost? I'm sure you don't want to talk about them, but these are people that are close to you, you know. These are people that you went to school with.
That's correct, sir. Most of them, well, the 2 or 3 people that I'm referring to, I was in school with.
Yeah.
The one was a leader. I don't want to mention names.
Okay.
For my safety.
Yeah.
And he passed on in 2022. He was shot outside Virgin Active in 14th Avenue. And it was quite scary to know that this was somebody that, he was a little bit older than me. But in school he wasn't that type of person, you know. So I don't know what could be the change, but also coming from his family, there is that string of activity that's been happening, you know. It is very sad to know that these things are happening. And then I also have a family member that stays in Boksburg. I'm not too sure, but I think it's got related to taxi violence as well. We buried him in 2000. He was a close relative of mine as well. So it's not easy, you know, being in such positions at times. But I just ask that the Almighty helps whoever is in this type of lifestyle, you know.
Was it difficult for you to decide that you want to sell the house in Boston?
That wasn't my house.
Okay.
That house was my mom's house. At the time, I think it was 2009, 2010, we were going through, the country was going through a little bit of a, I can't remember what you call it, but
Yeah.
so my brother sold the house. He worked for F&B at the time. It was done without my mom's knowledge. He stole the title deeds and
Whoa.
yeah. So it wasn't, we didn't move out of Boston because of gang-related violence.
Okay. Because that's what I thought, because I was like, probably you were so tired of hearing the gunshots.
Yeah.
I can only imagine like staying in a place like that.
Yes.
Time to time. I used to stay in a community whereby time to time, every night, especially during the weekends, you would hear like gunshots.
Correct.
Bah, bah.
Yes, yes.
But in a place whereby there's gangs, you probably hear that more often. You're not even scared anymore.
Yes.
I mean, when you're sleeping, you hear a gunshot like next street.
Yes,
It's like it's normal.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? But you were telling me that your brother sold the house.
No, so it had nothing to do with, my mom was happy for that, because my brother wasn't staying there at the time. So it was just my mom and myself. And I think there was a lot of jealousy, from my brother's side, I'm not too sure why. And hence I say that he got all of the title deeds and he done change of ownership. It was easy for him working out of the bank to do. So my mom wasn't too aware of this type of knowledge, when it comes to title deeds and stuff. It was a family home, a bond house. And it was quite sad. The country was going through recession. That's what I wanted to say earlier at the time. So the house was valued at about R1 million. Bosmont isn't a location area, it's a suburb, but it's right next to, we border Westbury, Nuclear, Fitas, those areas, so we're in the middle of that areas. So it is a bit notorious, but it's a suburb, it's not the location or anything. So the house was valued at quite a bit, but because it being in recession, I think my brother got about 400,000 rand for the house. My mother I don't even think she's seen a 1 rand of that money.
Yeah.
And I've become very cold towards my mom's kids as well. We're 3. I'm my father's only son from my mother. And my elder sister and brother have their father. So the jealous part, I know it's off what we're speaking about, but I think it comes from there, And after this last 5-6 years, with everything happening, it's brought a lot of revelation to my life. How people are, especially with money and things like that, It's sad, but it's also growing me. I'm finding a lot of growth out of this, It's a lonely journey from time to time, but I think I'm only going through this because God knows that I can make it through this.
You were telling me that you're a scripture reader, and I'm sure you came across the verse, money is the root of all
That's
evil.
correct. Timothy 6.
And when you come back and you see what your brother did,
correct, sir. It
was a confirmation, basically.
Correct, sir. Correct.
How did you feel about that?
I'm learning to forgive. A lot of people tell me that I have to forgive. I don't share my story in detail as I am with you, because I just feel that judgment may come easily to my way, especially in the community I'm staying. So I give them just the important parts, But regardless of who I'm sharing it with, even if it's with a stranger, I've always heard that forgiveness is important. And I do struggle with that a lot lately, and I ask myself, it's like my brother, it's my mother's son, I need to let go, even with my sister as well. She came not long after I received that cash, and they took loans from me and stuff. Up till today, it's still outstanding, So, as you said earlier on about Timothy, the truth is there, but sometimes it's a little bit challenging for me to accept, what's written in Scripture. So, but I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I'm getting there by the grace of God.
Please teach me how to forgive at that level. You can forgive a person when they swear at you in a taxi, or maybe a taxi driver, or maybe somebody swearing at you on the comment section.
Yes.
but having to forgive your own brother.
In a nutshell, for me, I'm still going through this process. I wouldn't say that he's forgiven, and that, when this just happened, like early 2023, it wasn't that much of a challenge mentally, But now that I've broken away from the people that I grew up with and that stuff, and I'm now mainly on my own. I've got one close friend, a Zulu guy that stays opposite with me. And when I learn about his culture and stuff like that, it sort of helps me. It shows me that there's light at the end of the tunnel, As I said earlier, that black people don't love like colored people. There's unity,
Yeah.
And even when there's problems and stuff, it's not for everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's not a show. They don't put a show up. It's kept, together. And going back to, you said, how do you get to this point of forgiveness? I think it's a daily choice that you have to make, when you get up every morning, where you have to say that, it's not something that's once off, where you say, no, I've forgiven that person. Like you said earlier, you made a scenario about the taxi, and that. No, it's not as easy as that, where you just forget about it later on, after you've had your cider or whatever the case may be. No, this is something that, it's a choice that you make daily. You choose that you're going to try, and you ask. I think it's more than just yourself. You need, like I said, scripture to conquer it, so it's not a once-off thing. It's something that needs to be done daily.
Forgive us as we forgive those who trespass against us.
Amen.
Every day.
Yes, correct.
It's a daily exercise.
Yes.
God is forgiving us daily.
Daily.
And we need to do the same thing daily.
My brother, you're 100% on point.
The time when your mom found out about the house being sold, how did she feel?
My brother, I think my mom knew about it before I did. But she didn't have a way of telling me that this was going to take place.
Yeah.
And it's her children, I can't tell her how to feel about her son or that. It wasn't easy because we went from not knowing about rent and stuff all our lives to now paying rent, I was with my ex-fiancé at the time. So it was a challenge for me also, paying rent and stuff. But I was working at that time. But I don't think it's as hard as it is for my mom, because she's also helped me. She's pushed me into this direction of reading scripture, and whenever you're facing challenges, they say there's a friend that sticks closer than a friend, which is Jesus, And a lot of what I've been taught growing up, I'm only starting to apply in my life now, which I do get a little bit frustrated with myself about, because these two things on the side of my ears were just not working growing up, disobedience. And now that I'm starting to use it, like I said, there's a lot of regret also in it, but I try and look past that. Like I said earlier, there's a reason why I'm going through this. I don't take it lightly, as much as it's very challenging for me. When I look at people my age, I have a friend that I grew up with in Bosmont. He moved out there years before I did. He's now buying his second house.
Wow.
No kids, married.
Wow.
His wife and my ex-fiancé are best friends, and we're best friends. So growing up, we sort of had like an agreement, that these are the ladies that we're going to marry.
Yeah.
And things never panned out that way, unfortunately, But, as I say, I'm just taking it one day at a time, It's not as easy as what it sounds and stuff like that. But, I'm grateful for the challenge.
Yeah.
I know that only the best can come out of this.
Life is a journey.
Amen, brother.
It's a journey. If you look into the scriptures, you will see that For example, Solomon went through a journey.
Yes.
Moses went through a journey. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they went through a journey. Imagine they were thrown into the fire
Yes, I
by a
remember
king. And within the fire, the king thought that these people are going to burn to death. Life is a journey. We all go through the most.
Yes, sir.
But at the end of the day, according to Psalms 91, the Lord always covers us.
Oh, amen.
No weapon formed against us shall prosper. There's a lot that we go through. You spoke about the Lord always forgives us, and we must also forgive people daily.
Correct.
It's not an easy exercise.
Yes.
Forgiveness has different levels.
True.
You can forgive a person who swore at you, maybe in a taxi. You can forgive a person who stole money from you.
Correct.
It may not be easy, and that's like 400,000 as an example.
Yes.
You can forgive a person who unalived somebody who's close by you. That's a different level of forgiveness.
Correct. 100%.
Forgiveness is a journey on itself. It can take 6 months. It can take a year. It can take 5 years. But at the end, we have to forgive.
Yes, sir.
And forgiveness is not for the next person. It's actually for ourselves.
Correct. I've been told that numerous times.
Yes. At the end of how many years, at some point you have to find a way to forgive the person. It is not for them. It is for you.
Correct.
But yeah, let's talk about why you're here. You got involved in an accident at some point, and you got money from RAF.
That's correct, sir.
But I want to go through everything, the story in details from the beginning of what actually happened for you to be involved in an accident like that.
Okay, I'm going to start from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. I was working for a 2018. I got hired at a political institution.
Okay.
So I was working for government in a call center. I think it was sometime in June 2018. Worked that 6 months of that year through.
Yeah.
We closed in December, around about the 22nd, somewhere there, and went on holiday. At the time, I was staying close, because I was working in Bruma Lake.
Yeah.
I was staying close to Malbarton. I was staying in Malbarton area, right?
You were getting paid a lot of money. You were going on holidays.
No, I mean like our work clothes.
Oh,
that's what I mean,
okay.
like that type of holiday.
Yeah.
And my aunt was on holiday. She went away, and we had the house to ourselves, you know. So I was renting a cottage in a yard, because we had a love club. So I was traveling with my cousin to and fro work. And time went on, and December passed, and January came, and it was like the weekend just before we opened for work, right? For the new year. And it was on a Saturday afternoon, I remember. We were having a potjie in the yard, you know, and there were drinks and so forth. And so where I was staying at the time, Malbarton area, right? There's no spots like where you can buy a beer for like R2 less or R3 less.
Yeah.
And the closest area is Bella Vista, Criswell, which is in the south, right? So my cousin wanted like brutal fruit ciders, and she wasn't willing to pay that price at Tops, if I remember correctly. So we took the car, my cousin and her husband, and she carried on with the potjie. We were supposed to be 3 in the car, and then my cousin, that also works with us, decided to stay. So it was just my cousin's husband and myself. Went up, we got the ciders. We bought ourselves 2 beers in Criswell, and it started storming. And we chose to rather wait, you know, until the rain subsided. And then not long after that, so the area that we're in, my cousin's husband has family there, right? And we went to go and check upstairs, it's flats there. And the person that we looked for wasn't at home. We wanted to sit there until the rain subsided a little bit. And fine, we went back down to the car. We sat in the car. not long after that, the person that we looked for just rocked up next to us with a Polo TSI. And that's him and his family. You know, the guy that was driving the Polo is related to this person. He was married to his aunt, which passed away earlier on in time, you know. In any case, so in any case, what happened was we opened up a beer there. We were the two of ourselves that went there, and there were three in the car. So the rain was subsiding, but it was still rainy, you know. But it wasn't as hard as what it was when we just rocked up there. And the guy that was driving the Polo said, "No, come, I'll give you a lift down. You can drop the ciders for your wife. And then you'll come fetch the car," because this was a new Polo TSI, right? Well, it's just test the car and stuff. Apparently it was his wife's car. Fine, we jumped into the car. He took us down. We first bought another 2 beers. The guy that we went to go and look for upstairs, he said no, he'll stay, you know. So we were only 4 in the car. It was the driver. The driver's, he was married to a Zambian lady at the time. I'm not too sure if he's still married to her. It was her brother. So it was the driver, his brother-in-law, my cousin's husband, and myself. I was sitting behind the passenger seat at the back. So we did our things, packed up what we needed to, on our way to drop the ciders at my cousin in Malbaton. Going down, I'm not sure if you know Kliprivier Drive. It's based in the south.
No.
Okay.
Which side is it? Is it by Southgate?
It's on the other side of Southgate.
Oh, is it?
It's on Turffontein side. Going down Turffontein.
Yeah, I see.
Kliprivier Drive. So it's a main road. It's not a highway, but it's a main road, you know. And it says that you mustn't drive 80 is not. You should go at least 110 or so. And in any case, we were driving a bit fast. So now this is out of Criswell and stuff. So the guy showed us like the car has power and stuff, you know. And I started getting skeptical when we got onto the main road because the way he was driving was a little bit reckless, you know. Especially like when we were overtaking cars with the wet weather. And I could see like, you know, before it happened, I could see that, like, I could even feel like something isn't right. You know, and the music was playing loud and stuff like that. And the more I'm trying to tell, like Emrose was the guy sitting next to me, you know, like, please tell Regan to like slow down a little bit, you know. The music, the one beer that I had, you know, a part of me was saying, no, don't say that. The guys are just going to shout you for, you know, for being scared and stuff like that. But I could feel something didn't feel right at that point. In any case, going down Kliprivier, we were already doing like 120, 130, 140, but averaging like that, you know, up and down between 120 and 140 because of traffic and stuff. And before we came to a curb, there was cars like hooting. Like as we were passing, like you could see they were quite annoyed, like the way we were driving. And the guy didn't know that it's like a yield sign, right? That we need to go left. So before coming to the yield sign, I like warned him and I said like, you're going to turn left next year. But when I looked at the speedometer, it was like on 110 and it's a yield sign, you know, but it goes down like this. So Emrose told him, no, skip, you'll take the next one. So he said it, but he said it in Afrikaans, like, you know, "Julle sal my nie sê om te drive, you won't tell me how to drive." He was hot already, not knowing that he was drinking before he picked us up. And as we approached the hill, I think it was a left tire on my side. I could feel it hitting the curb, you know, and this is like between 100, 110. I think 110 is too slow. It just could have been like 115 somewhere, kilometers per hour. And as I said earlier, it was raining, you know, and I could feel the car sliding to one side, you know. My brother, I think I hit my cheekbone twice on the headrest of the passenger seat. Like, I don't know what there was an island, a small island, like as I said, we were turning, so there was that island, there was a set of robots for the cars going this side. And I could remember my head hitting against the window. It never broke or anything. But at this time, the car was already off balance, like, and I didn't know that we were rolling.
Sure.
We rolled about 7 times.
Sure.
After rolling, I didn't know what was happening. I was awake and stuff, but I couldn't make sense of what just transpired. And like a minute or 120 seconds into what just happened, then I realized, what it quickly took me back to the time when we were passing the cars like that. And that's when I remember, that we've just been in an accident. It didn't look that way. It's my first time.
Yeah.
I've been in minor accidents where, where you just bumped the car at the back and stuff like this. This was very new to me. The sunroof, because it was a panoramic sunroof, was open, but it was completely broken. I just remember, because I had a shorts on that day. And then I remember seeing blood on my shorts and stuff like that. And the glass and stuff was in my eyes. And I was the last one out of the car. Because I was the only one that got injured, that had major injuries, I sustained some, well, my left cheekbone was fractured, as well as my tooth and stuff got damaged as well. With everything happening and stuff, they pulled me out through the sunroof. The car was on its side, yes, that's correct. They helped me get out of the car. We were only 3, I remember, when we got out. The other guy ran away. I'm not too sure why.
Was it the driver?
No, not the driver,
Okay.
the passenger.
Okay.
The driver's brother-in-law ran away. Okay. Apparently, they said he didn't have an ID, I think, because he's from Zambia.
No.
And stuff like that. They have a wine cellar here in Joburg, but
Okay.
apparently his papers weren't up to date. And he ran away. And then my brother, it felt like everything was fine. There was a little bit of pain on my face and stuff like that, but I thought that I could walk. So from where the accident happened to where I was staying at the time in Malbaton, it wasn't, it was like a 8-minute walk home. So I still thought, I was quite angry at the driver because I was like, but I told you that there was a yield sign coming up, And he chose not to listen to me. We did warn him and stuff. So I was quite annoyed with all of that stuff happening. And I was trying to get my clothes were just all messed up and full of mud and dust and stuff like that. With the sunroof being open, things were flying in and out of the car. And as I'm still tidying myself up and that, so there was I think that I said to you earlier, there was a car behind us that was flashing and wooting and stuff. These people actually turned around, they followed us, it was a white couple. They asked in Afrikaans, are you okay, can we phone the ambulance and stuff like that. I was annoyed and I was asking to ask the driver what happened, because I couldn't talk. I was trying to make sense of what was happening. And then I finally got my marbles together and then I thought, no, I'm okay to walk, So I said, what, I'm just going to leave everything here. Sherry, my cousin, the lady that asked us to go and buy alcohol, I still said to Emmy, just let's take our stuff. But most of the alcohol bottles were broken already in the car. And then I was quiet because it's always a thing with Emmy and myself when we go and buy drinks. We take long with my cousin. And that specific day, that wasn't the case, And I thought, let me just go to her there because I don't want to be in the middle of their marriage, type of thing. And the white lady said to me, no, you can't walk, in Afrikaans. Your face is full of blood and stuff like that. And I insisted, I said, no, I'm fine. It's just a scratch and stuff like that. I'm not knowing that my cheekbone, it was crushed, My whole face was flat, the side of my face. I do have a plate in my face. So I insisted, no, that I'm fine, and I'll take a walk. I think I probably walked 10 or 15 meters, and I collapsed. And that's when they told me, that lady brought a towel over me, and she comforted me, her and her husband, And the other 2 guys were trying to push the car back on its feet. They didn't get hurt as bad as what I did, They just had blue eyes and stuff like that. I was the only one bleeding. And eventually, the ambulance came. They asked me to give my statement. I couldn't speak, really. My speech was very, very slurry. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I was feeling very numb and but then the pain started, on my face. Yeah, and the ambulance came there. They checked me out. They put me onto the stretcher, into the ambulance. I wasn't even sure was I alive at that point because that's when I really started feeling the pain, you know, when the lights in the cars came and I could see what's really happening. Reality it in, you know, and I remember my mom on the phone screaming and swearing and stuff like that, you know, and that's when, like, I wouldn't say I was unconscious, but I wasn't really aware of what was happening around me, you know, for that 3-4 hours. I was then taken to South Rand Hospital with the ambulance, where I laid in observation for about 2 days. They did the observation and they discharged me, but with a referral letter to Joburg Gen Hospital, which is in, close, I think, Hillbrow, not far from Hillbrow, right? They gave me that referral letter. That was a Saturday, so I went there the Tuesday or something like that. I went there and they examined me and stuff like that. And they said that my cheekbone needed incision, you know, it's been cracked and stuff like that. What did they do? They did a few checkups on me. At the time, there wasn't space in the hospital, so I was discharged, but I was given a letter again. At that point, my face was just on a different level. It was completely swollen and stuff like that. They did give me things to put it down, and they said, no, I don't need to be in the hospital for them to, like, they've observed me and stuff. They've came to the conclusion what was wrong and stuff like that. They know the next step forward. It's just there wasn't a place in the hospital at the time, you know, because of emergencies and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I then, 4 or 5 days, I laid at home. They took me back to the hospital. I was then admitted again to Joburg Gen. And a day or two into it, I went into theatre where a plate was put into my face. It was an awful experience because that's when I really felt the pain that took place and stuff. It was very uncomfortable in my face. I think I was in hospital after I done the operation, I think 2 or 3 days. According to the nurses, they said it might take longer because I had sustained a previous injury on my head some time ago, you know. So they were very skeptical with regards to that because it's also a head injury, you know. It's on my face and stuff like that. They did scans, CAT scans and so forth to see if anything has been damaged on my head and stuff like that. By the grace of God, nothing. You know, you can see on my head over here, this was previously.
Yeah, can I just see? Yeah, okay.
I was assaulted there.
Yeah.
2014, 2015.
Okay.
I was very worried about that because when this happened, sorry to just change
no
from me. I was very skeptical with my head, especially because when this happened, I was told that a doctor from Congo operated on my head, and he told me that like I love playing soccer, you know. I was a last man growing up. I was a sweeper. I played at the back, right? So he told me like no contact sport and stuff like that. This was now way before my accident, you know. And I was very concerned about my head, you know. And I said, I asked doctors and nurses and told me, you know, just chill, everything will be okay. My mom was also very worried with my head, and by God's grace, nothing happened on my head. I couldn't understand it. Was a car being rolled like 7 times, you know. I was grateful for that. It's just the pain that I was in. I was in a lot of pain. So they told me that I'll be in hospital like for the next week or 2 because they need to see if my limbs are still functioning. I remember when I went in with this head injury, they told me that it's a 50-50 chance that I might not speak again. It's related to my head, you know. And I am speaking to you. I'm having a conversation with you.
Wow.
So when the accident happened, those stuff played on my head, you know. And as I said earlier, that they said I'll probably take like 1 or 2 weeks in hospital. So where I was working, I was on contract as well. I was temping, and then I got scared and I said, no, man, this can't be happening, you know. Starting 2019 like this, it's just not fair, you know.
Yeah.
But then I thought about all these things because I thought like, you know, I was warned, like, not the alcohol part, like just the company that I'm keeping, and, you know, by this time already, I was out of Bosman, as I said, 2010, you know.
Yeah.
And people's words and flashbacks, you know, it's like, it wasn't easy for me to change. It's like growing up, being exposed to a certain lot of people, you know. You find it easier, especially even when you go out of your area, you know, you just sort of attract yourself to the people that, you know. And people used to tell me, Chad, when you have this, just stay away and you know, sometimes it's lonely, like being alone, you know what I'm saying? And you need somebody to socialize. But to cut the chase, going back to, as I said to you about the hospital part, where they said that I might be in hospital for X amount of time, that wasn't the case. There was a catheter inserted in me, which was very uncomfortable, you know. So I asked the nurse to please, she said, no, you need this thing because you won't be able to walk. And I proved her wrong. And I stood up and I said, please, it's an uncomfortable experience, you know, to use a toilet like this. And she understood and she said, okay, let's see. And she took it out and I then managed up and down and I was making jokes with the sisters, with the nurses and stuff like that. And one of the matrons came in and she said, you know, there's no need for him to be here for the next week or so, you know, with the way he's laughing and they let me stay for another day.
You were so positive, eh?
I was positive, you know, and at the same time I didn't want to lose this job. And 2 or 3 days came, I got discharged at home. I took another week to go back to work. It's a call center where I was working at the time, so I was very embarrassed. Not about my injuries and stuff, but just the way my face looked at the time. Working with lots of beautiful ladies and stuff like that, you know. So it was a challenge for me going back to work. But I wanted to be back at work regardless, you know. I don't like starting something and not getting to the bottom of it. And I went back to work. Worked. While doing this, I wasn't aware that I can, and somebody told me about some government fund and stuff. I didn't know about that, right? It was new to me, and certain people said, no, you have to be the driver and stuff. So I thought, let me just try it because we had access to the internet at work, you know. So during my spare time or when my calls were up to date, then I just Google these things. And then my lawyers are from Houghton here as well. Swartz attorneys was my lawyers. They took all of my case. And I looked for something that was closely where I work because Brumalek is not too far off from where we are right now, right? And I found lawyers that was easy for me to travel and go through. They asked me to come in and give them my story and bring the necessary documents from the hospital and stuff like that. The guy that, my cousin's husband, also, he had bruises and stuff, so he said, no, I should bring him also in with me. Unfortunately, he didn't make it for the claim because they said they needed like multiple injuries or you needed to have break something like in my case where it was fractured, right?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you something. You mentioned that they put a plate in your face.
That's correct.
What kind of a plate is it?
I think it's like a wire. It's more like a mesh wire. It's cosmetology surgery. So I was cut open on my eyebrow. I have quite thick eyelashes, so you wouldn't see it here. And then at the bottom of my eye, it was cut open. From what I understand, what was put in was, so the cheekbone was basically, because I hit it multiple times against the seat, the seat was actually swerved like this from me hitting the... so what happened is it got crushed from what I understand, according to the doctors. So it moved. It was like out of place. Nothing was taken out of my face. I think it did get damaged. So I think what happens is, according to what I was explained, is it's not a metal plate as in like when I thought about it as well. It's like almost like a wire. It's just for cosmetology purposes, so that
reshape your face.
Reshape my face.
So that your face looks normal.
Looks normal again,
The way,
That's what
I see.
The plate is. It's not the plate that we...
Because I thought it was a metal plate or plastic plate.
No.
You know how they would do plastic surgery.
I think it could be also along that lines as well. Look, at the time I was explaining this, there was a lot going on, so you know what I mean. It was, but it could be that plastic as well, you know, because I don't think it could be just wire alone.
So when the doctors give you like a X-ray copy, can you see the plate there?
No, I didn't ask for X-ray copy yet. Okay. It never bothered me at the time, you know.
As long as you look fine.
As
like,
long
okay.
as, Even that time, like going to the mirror and that, because I knew that my face is not in a good, you know what I'm saying?
Because you were swollen as well.
Because I was swollen, But that went down, went back to work. And then I researched this claim type of thing that people are telling me about, this RAF, you know, and went to this lawyer. He checked my documents and stuff like that, asked a few questions, and then we kept in contact, you know. They called me like a couple of weeks down the line. That was late January. No, say February. That's all took place in February, right, towards the end of February, after being discharged and stuff. And not long after speaking to them, let's say a week or two after that, they asked me to come in again a second time. And then they said to me that they'll lodge the complaint, you know, with RAF and stuff like that. Excuse me. Time went on. There was some running around that I needed to do, collecting documents. I needed to go to the police station closest to where the accident happened to ask for a copy of, I think it was the accident report or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I had challenges finding some of those things. I did what I could, what was manageable for me to do, running around in hospital. The lawyer said, no, don't worry about certain things as long as we have the documents that was in your position, you know. Fine. And then it was a J88 that I needed as well, like where the injuries happened and stuff like that. But that came with like, when they discharged me, they gave me all those documents as well. So that wasn't a problem. Time went on. I'd often go to doctors. The lawyers will send me to different doctors in and around Joburg as well. Sometimes Pretoria as well. Like I went to one physio towards the end of this, how do I call it, like towards the end of the claim, just to see if my physio is still right. So I went to physiotherapy doctors and stuff like that. It was a long journey, 3 years about. As time went on, I also moved from there. My contract ended at this political institution that I was at. And again, I was at home, you know, unemployed and running around with this RAF, stuff like that. There was a time where I really thought I'm wasting my time, you know, because I was spending a lot of money going to these doctors up and down. And I just felt like, you know, giving up. And it's like I was waiting for, you know, remember I said earlier on about your time management, and I was very idle in that time, in that 3 years, from the time the complaint was lodged until I received the money, you know. My mom worked at a hardware store in those 3 years while waiting. This is after my contract had ended. I helped out at the hardware store. I was doing deliveries. I don't have a license, so I was an assistant driver, you know. So whenever I could drive or whatever the case may be, then I drive, but I wasn't like the person to deliver.
You were helping out.
I was helping out, you know. And there were times when I'd help out with the bricks and stuff, and I could feel like my body's not at that point in time, you know, that I wasn't like fit, because I tire out quickly and stuff like that, you know. As to where I was working in the call center, where you make money with your mouth, you have to speak to people, you know. That was physical work. Not that I haven't did this before, I've did it before, but I wasn't injured before, if I could say it like that. And I stayed there for like 7 or 8 months. The work got less, and they said that they also let people go there, and then they asked me to be a shop assistant because I knew the tools and stuff. So the money dropped a little bit. And I decided, you know, I tried something at home for a short while, and that also never worked out. So in that time I was very idle, right? And then 2022 came. 2021 came. And then they were finalizing my claim, my documents. They didn't tell me like the amount that I'll have. They used to just make examples, you know, to tell me the breakdown of how the claim works, you know. Their lawyer's fees 25%, and etc., right? And I used to often come in time to time to the lawyers just to finalize the documents and stuff like that. They asked me, am I happy? And then late in 2021, they asked me to come in to review the claim, right? And they showed me what the claim was worth. And they asked me, am I happy with the claim? They said I don't have to agree with them. They just said to me that if I'm not happy with the claim, then they have to go to court. And it makes the process longer. And sometimes there's a possibility that things can go wrong. So they were happy to offer me that amount at that time. I took like a week to rethink it out. And 6 months before they called me in to review my claim, I already because that's when I seen that there's a possibility that this is true, that it is going to happen. Yeah. And then I started writing down what I need to do for myself and stuff like that, But like I say, the time before that, I wasn't managing it right, And even the people that I was surrounding myself with, it wasn't balancing, Yeah. It's sad that that now that I'm where I'm at now, I'm only realizing how important it was to. And it's not something that I'm putting under the table because I'm back to where I'm at in my life. It's actually helped me a lot in how to manage my time, even now, for that matter, But like I say, I wasn't managing my time well, but I was so my things weren't adding up, The people I was spending my time with and the things I want to do weren't adding up because they weren't like-minded with. They say you must surround yourself by people that's like-minded.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Exactly, sir. Yeah. So there was that with me. I was having that issue. And it's like there was a veil over my face. With my brother also on the other end. I'll get to that point now.
Yeah.
But in any case, like I was saying, 6 months before the time, and then I was writing all this stuff down that I need to do for myself and, educational courses that I want to do, which I never did. And getting closer to the time of payment now. So they told me the amount that the offer that they're willing to give me and stuff like that. It took me about a week or two to go over this, and it was finalized. I signed the documents. And then early in 2022, I think it was about March or so, they gave me the first amount of money.
How much was it?
The first amount was, it was about 840,000 because I had a loan with them as well. They offered me a loan. I took a loan in December of 2021, 30K. I paid back about 50,000. There was 20%. There was interest. It was about 20K interest on the money. I didn't need the loan, but I just took it. It was one of the strategies to make more money off me.
Okay.
But in any case, that happened. The money came in May, so I was supposed to get 900K. That was my first payment. But because of the loan and stuff like that, so it was 800 and something thousand. That was the bulk payment, right? They explained me there's two payments they do. It's first your injury payment, with regards to the accident happening, and then there's a second payment which is the doctor's payment. So every time you go to a doctor, for example, there's an amount that the doctor charges, but they pay it for you. So when your money comes, they automatically take that money, but they show you how much each doctor costs.
They give you a statement.
There's a breakdown, correct. Yeah. There's a breakdown of everything. And it was quite a lot of funds when I seen how much these doctors charged me. So the second payment was just over 100,000 Rand, which came 5 or 6 months down the line. Now I'm lying. 3 months. They said 180 days. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was happy with everything, signed everything, and so forth. Then that money came, I think it was March or May 2022. As I said to you, so I had a list of things that I needed to do, from 1 to 10, just hypothetically speaking. And I used to mark out the things that I was doing, The more challenging stuff like a license and a car, I thought, I'll leave for when I'm established, which was a mistake to do. That money came. At the time, I was renting a cottage in Vleerhof. My brother from my mom was the one that organized the place because he was going through a divorce at the time. So that was his girlfriend's place. And then before moving there, I just felt that this is not the person that I need to be with right now, They didn't know anything about my claim. They knew about my accident and stuff. Look, I'm not trying to blame anybody and stuff like that because I asked advice, like, what should I do and stuff like this, but it was just negative. Only when I think about it now, and as I said earlier, there's this jealousy and now that I'm grown and so much has transpired in my life, I don't like to sit and focus on it, but when I do think about it, when I want answers, and then I get answers, I speak to God and I ask Him, I want to know why is it like this, because I'm tired of fighting physically with my brother and doing all sorts of things, I'm not gaining out of it. I sit and I condemn myself after it's all done when my anger cools down, So I try to put bygones aside and just love with this person. And as I said, this money came in May. I did a few things. Now, sometimes, not sometimes, I think people were aware because they could see this man just had nothing the other day and now he's just buying this and buying that. I love clothes. So that's the first thing I did was I was shopping at Spitz. I did go about haywire on, I spent a lot of cash on my mother as well, I just, for the trouble that I put her through in Bosmont, I thought that spending on her will just make up for that, I had the wrong idea of how do I put it to you, when you want to do right for somebody that you've been giving trouble for a long time, I had the wrong perception of that, I thought that taking her out gambling and stuff, because my mom also likes gambling, I thought that would cover all that time that I wasted with wrong friends and stuff like that, because she's a person that really stood. I grew up, my father has children like I said earlier, I'm the only son from my mom, from my father, My father's got other kids as well. I sometimes wish I grew up with them, it would have been a lot different. But I can't go back and change any of that. I'm grateful that I know them as well. We're 13 siblings in total.
Wow.
My father's side, everything is great. There's no issues.
Yeah, but how much did you get in total?
So in total, it was R1 million, you can say.
R1 million.
R1 million, yeah. Because the claim was worth 1.4 million, 25,000.
Yeah.
The lawyers took 425,000, and I was left with 900 and odd rands. Also with that loan that was involved. So you can say it was about R1 million. The claim was worth 1.425. 25% goes to the lawyers, which was 400 and odd thousand.
Yeah.
And then I was left with 900 and something K. I say 900 and something K because minus that loan money as well.
Yeah.
So that was the amount that I was left with.
You were telling me about some of the money you were spending it on your mom to try cover up the past.
Yes.
Is that where most of the money went to?
No, sir. Most of the money went into Monte Casino and Gold City. It's not as bad as what it was now. I do still gamble, but it's not as, I know when to stop. It's an addiction. I feel that I do need a bit of counseling with regards to that. I don't know. I won quite a big amount at one point at Monte Casino, and I think that's what actually, because I'm not a gambler, but taking my mom out and stuff like that, I won, especially with those first few times that we went out just after receiving this money, and I think that was the bait into this dark place that I found myself in, 9-10 months after receiving this money. Because what happened was I gambled so much out that I just wanted to make it back again. Like I remember seeing those figures in my account. I invested half of that money that I got. The other half I left free in my account so that that I can do my stuff like buy the car and that type of thing, which I never got to. So that money that was loose, that was the money that I was using to try and, not to try, but I was trying to cover, like I said earlier on, like my mother and some other relationships and stuff like that. But I had the wrong perception of everything. Like I thought that money will fix all of us, And for some people it was like a penalty. You know what I'm saying? It was like a free-for-all type of thing. That's the way I see it, and I'm exposed to it now. I can see it's like that, It's sad, like I say. And also this experience has taught me a lot about people and myself, and I'm not judging anybody. I'd rather pray for somebody. When I see it in people, I pray for them, When I see opportunists, I pray for them, rather than criticize them and stuff like that. So yes, going back to your question there, yes, for me, I thought it was going to cover and like fix everything, which wasn't the case. So yeah, it was a little bit of a challenging experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
You spoke about there's a large amount of money that you won at Monto Casino.
That's
the
correct.
Time when you were gambling.
Yes.
How much is it?
Say about 40 grand.
40,000.
This was on a slot machine, yeah. So I don't know if you've been to, well, you have been to casino, you get different types of machines. You get 50 cents machines, you get 5. I used to watch people gamble before I gambled, and I used to see like the bigger guys, how they gamble, I used to sit in the pavilions. I've got a black card for Monte Casino.
Wow.
Yeah, so even when I go there,
I've never seen one.
Yeah.
I've been there, but I've never seen a black card.
Yeah, a black card is like you can order a drink and that.
Yeah, but a black card for Monte Casino.
Yeah, for
It's not a bank black card. It's a Monte Casino.
No, it's a black card. Yes, that's
I've never seen that one.
Yeah. So I don't know, when you go to gamble, you give your ID number, right?
Yes.
Before you take that card out of that dispenses your card. So every time you put that card in the machine, they know like how much you're spending at the casino. That's how it's allocated to you. So I was offered that card. Like I didn't know that that I can get that card. One of the waiters came to me and they said that you're applicable for this type of card. I didn't know what it was. And at one time, my mom was with me. My mom knows well about this, the gambling story. And my mom said, no, go and get that card so that when you come here, you don't have to make a card. You have your own personal card, and you can get a drink and something to eat without paying, every time, regardless of when it is or what day it is.
Yeah.
And this is how I attained this card. Going back to that 40,000 rand that you asked me earlier on. So I used to watch people play, and I used to see that it's either you go big or you go home, And I used to see, okay, like some of the bets would be 36 rand or 40 rand per spin, And that one day I thought, I'm just going to dunk like a K into the machine, and see where it goes and how far. And I struck it lucky on that day. That's why I won that 40,000 rand. Believe me, brother, it's as quick as it came into my pocket. It just also, because I left Monte Casino, but then I'll play online on my phone, and that's how it just, it's like you just constantly want to win. It's like it's an addiction. Let me put it to you that way. And at the time I didn't, because the money was there, so it didn't come across to me that it's slowly reeling me in, I'm like paid for something that I wasn't too aware about, And I didn't know that addiction works in numerous forms, And as I say, I wasn't working at the time, and we had a small business on the side as well, a furniture business with my brother. And I was making more money weekly gambling than what we were on the furniture business, And I thought, well, this is a way forward for me, And in it all, this is now 5-6 months into having this money. I got it in May. And in that time, I was also going to a lot of parties in Sandton, and I was doing things that you wouldn't normally do, when you just loving your life, normally working for a salary.
Yeah.
It's sometimes, especially when I'm working, like even I was shocked, like by my behavior, like it's difficult for me to spend a 50 rand because I know how much I'm earning, what's my daily, And I was shocked. I said, I'm not used to this behavior, like just blowing money like this, And at some point it did hit me. I sat down with myself. This was before I went into my investment money, and I said, like, I need help and stuff like that. My brother's also a drinker and stuff like that. And this is my mom's son now, right? And going back into our past relationships, I realized that I was like, because I asked advice. I said, like, I was about to buy a house, like, and my brother would just get into this business with me, like, and ask me how far is the person, because I was looking for a house through an agency, right? Pam Golding agency. And with my brother being so long in the bank and stuff like that, he knows about the repo rates and stuff like that. So then he'd always tell me, like, no, don't do this. They're going to charge you with change of ownership and that. The same story with a car, like I was going to do Uber at the time. I wouldn't do it now with all the risks and stuff. My mind has completely changed. I have many other, I just need a certain amount. I have an easy way of making money, but I wouldn't share that with you now.
No stress,
At the time, I was really keen on doing that. I thought that's the way to do it, But my brother would tell me, like, petrol and things. Look, you have to pay your way in life. Even in church, there's tithing. Sometimes it's like lately, it bothers me, with churches because it's always money. And I've come and I've read scripture and I see that it's not only money that you have to tithe with, So I'm aware that there's a lot of bogus stuff happening out in the time that we're living with now, So it actually speak me out of doing the things that I wanted to do, Again, I might have shared too much information with the wrong people, and I was told before this, by my lawyers and stuff. They sat me down and they said, like a few months before getting the money, they gave me advice and they said, like, just be careful what you do, especially with family, And now I'm seeing it the way it was told to me then, there's more, like, sorry to put it this way, that in the last 6 years I've learned a lot from my father's family and from total strangers, that I've shared with, because I'm more open to share with a stranger than somebody that knows me, that's going to tell me, well, it was obvious that was going to happen. It's like they were wishing that to happen to me, So I've learned a lot from that. Also with sharing, especially when it comes to finances, it's not something that, look, I don't have a hard heart. My heart isn't long for people. Also with my sister also, she was a flight attendant for SAA. She spoiled me a lot growing up, She started working there in 94.
Wow.
I was in grade 2, my second year of primary school. They from one father, right? And I'm from my father, my mother's last born child. But she never came across as my brother, And I did share it with her. I thought, this person did a lot for me, even when she moved to Cape Town for work-related stuff. She became a HR there in Cape Town for the Airways.
Wow.
And she was never cold to me, but like the true colors came out after this money came in, after they borrowed money from me, and then I could see, like, she did well, for that time. But like I said to you, going back to forgiveness, I've learned that it's the way it is. I don't know, would I be correct in saying it in this manner, but like my violent behavior, like I've given up, like, doing it with people now, When I have problems, I go to my room and I sorry, forgive me for this, but I question God about it rather. I ask God, like, why, and sometimes I don't get my answers immediately.
Yeah.
the spiritual journey for me is, it's fairly new. I just dedicated my life to God in 2024. My mother's been on this journey quite some time, and I don't want to be judgmental, towards anybody, but there is a verse in the Bible that says that you'll reap what you sow,
Yeah.
It says that in Galatians. And I try not to look at people, and, I'm speaking about family now mainly, and ask that why haven't they come to the place where, where you can, I'm learning things, and I've learned from one or two pastors that, once you're sincere with your walk and your journey with Christ, there comes a time when you can actually sit and say, but, once you've done your side, because everything has been done, according to my understanding, when Christ went on that cross for us, he doesn't need to do anything for us anymore. He's done that. It's up to us to follow, And I haven't yet come to that point where I can say, and I'm not blaming my time that I'm walking with Christ and stuff. I've also understood that God isn't a quick fix.
Yeah.
It's not something where you say, Lord, I made this mistake today, and please tomorrow, I've been doing so much things wrong for X amount of years, So I think it's also for me to apply myself, and what's the correct way that I can say this? It's not, like I say, it's not a quick fix thing. So God also, I think on my side, He wants to see how sincere I am and how faithful I am with everything that's happening in my head and in my life, So it gets a bit challenging, adapting from the old type of lifestyle. Even in my talk and stuff, sometimes, I can hear that it's not an easy thing, But I'm learning to apply myself.
So you're in a position whereby now you're a millionaire.
Correct.
And you know your family as these kind of people who behave in a certain way.
Yes.
Normal family, right?
Yes.
But now that you're a millionaire, you sort of see a change. Your brother's changing. Your sister's changing.
Correct.
They no longer treat you the same way. There's a change of behavior. There's a change of appetite as well. They treat me in a certain way, in a different way. Sometimes they're angry. Sometimes they are happy. It seems like they sort of after this money that I have.
Yes, sir.
So it's quite shocking how people would fight with you over the money that belongs to you.
Yes. And even dictate to you what you need to do and stuff like that. With my sister, I was very open. Like, she's like a second mom to me. I don't see her that way. God forgive me anymore.
Yeah.
I don't see her that way anymore. My mom is my only.
Yeah.
I do have a lady. She's fairly new, a Zulu lady. I don't want to share too much about that.
Yeah.
And she's a little bit older than what I am, and I regret not just keeping. Because there's so much that I want to do for her. Especially because she's a different race. Like, she just lights up my life. I don't know.
Do you think some of the money, or actually the money that you got from RAF, sort of broke the family instead of building it up?
I wouldn't say it broke my family in such a way, Maybe I could have...
Or maybe it exposed people's true colors.
So that's exactly, you took that out of my throat. Yeah, it did expose, it did a lot of exposing. And sometimes I just want to cover my face and not look at it like that, but it's the raw reality of the way things are just as, It's sad, like I say, especially with my sister. But I'm grateful that it did this to me, so that I'm aware of, because I think that if it wasn't like this for me, then I would have still been in that fake mind frame that I was, where I thought that everything was fine. Like it was like, they say some sheep walk around in wolves.
Yeah.
Or the other way around, there's that saying.
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely it has exposed people's true colors. I'm grateful for that. it's also more of a mission for me now, because that is where the forgiveness part comes in, because even the Bible states, and if I call myself somebody that's spiritual, in relation to the Bible, then I have to apply that to my life, So it's a little bit bitter sometimes for me to say that the Bible says that we should pray for our enemies. I struggle to digest those words,
When you sit down in your room and you're praying, after prayer, you sort of come back and sort of meditate or maybe digest whatever that you're going through.
Correct.
When you sit down and you think about it, do you get to a stage whereby you feel like, ish, my sister broke me?
I do feel like that at times. They could see, Justice, if you're older than me, and we're siblings and stuff, and you know that there's a stove there, and you insist on touching there, or you insist on walking that direction, you've been there before, so you tell me, like, don't go there, but like when I think about it now, there was no meaning in that, there wasn't, it wasn't sincerely done, when you really want to help somebody, you'll make sure that you get through to that person, so it came with like, I'm just saying it because I have to say it, or so that I can get something out of this person, even with advice and stuff, no advice was given to me. My sister wanted a large amount of money. I was going to buy a place in Observatory, not far from here.
Yeah.
I was looking to buy a student apartment that I was going to rent out. And it was like $375.
Okay.
And when I asked her to fetch me and let's do it together, and like the following day she suddenly said it was closed. But she wanted me to transfer that money into her account. And even the money that she owes me now, it's like compared to the money that she asked me for. So I'm asking myself, like, what would have happened in such a case,
Yeah.
It's not even close to what the apartment cost, the money that I borrowed her. And up till today, this very hour, it always ends up in an argument. We don't talk now when we see each other at funerals. Most of the time, that's when families actually get together.
And she still owes you.
And she still owes me. It hurts. Sometimes I want to just fight and swear. And, when I think about what I can still do with that money, there's always excuses. I'm not working. I earn 2,000 Rand because she's not at the airline. She resigned there. I don't know what work she does. And not that it's my business or stuff, but you leave me in the dark. Look, I'm not looking for sympathy and for anybody to feel sorry for me. I'm standing up for the choices that I made, I'm just sad of the reality by people and how people are,
It's quite sad, my brother, because imagine Justice got like a 1 million payout, and my sister suddenly thinks that, no, I can just borrow 400,000 from Justice. I'll pay it back, right? And I decide to say no. And my sister would just get mad out of nowhere. As if like we are sharing this money.
Yeah.
As if like she was with me in the car. Exactly. She wasn't with me.
Exactly my point.
Yeah. When I was going around, going to lawyers, signing papers, going to doctors, she wasn't there with me.
Correct.
Yes, of course, I didn't earn this money. This money was a payout.
Correct.
It could happen that there was no ref. What could have happened? Life would have went forward.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Correct.
So, glory to God that at least you got a payout to sort of take care of you.
Yes.
Going forward. You never know. Maybe you won't be able to work anymore. You mentioned that you were working for a factory and you could feel within your body that you're not fit. So that money is there to sustain you.
Yes, correct.
Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
So all of a sudden you take money out of the goodness of your heart. You borrow your own sister.
Correct.
Blood sister.
That's right.
Out of love, you're like, you know what? I cannot be the only one who succeed. I want all of us to succeed. But the problem comes in when now your sister feels like, if you're not going to do it the way I want to do it, then forget it.
Correct.
Now she's suddenly angry now.
Yes.
But it's not her money.
Correct.
But that sort of left you, already you had scars, but that sort of created a different scar.
Definitely. Definitely. From somebody that I thought,
And now you had to come back and sort of practice different kinds of forgiveness. Every day,
Yes, brother.
you have to forgive this
It's a
person.
daily journey. Sure. Like it's constantly in my head. Like it's the only time that I'm not thinking, not the money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just the rawness. The money you can always get back, but the time you can't. And that's what I want to share with somebody out there, is value your time and utilize your time. Don't be idle. That's the main thing. But yes, 100% what you're saying. I fully agree with you. I know it sounds a little and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But my sister isn't one that would borrow money, especially with the type of jobs that she's. My brother was in college after school. My sister studied architectural drawing.
Yeah.
But she never ventured into that journey that she studied for, So it's a person of high caliber that's always worked jobs that's, that's given her decent salaries,
Yeah.
And I understood that she might have been tied in a knot, but when I think about it now, I think it feels like it was all just a joke, or they were just trying to take me for granted, but there was no reason for her to borrow that money, I think.
Okay, so are you able to estimate the amount of money that you spend in gambling?
I think it could have been over 500K on gambling. On gambling, yeah. Justice, I used to even sleep over in casinos at times. It's nice when you're winning. When you're putting 3,000 rand in and you're getting 19,000 rand back, and it's a constant thing. But it was like water through my hands, because it will just find its way elsewhere, And this is where I think spiritual practices also come into play, I did put my Creator aside for that time. It's not the easiest thing to say. Because I've been through it all. God was with me going to these doctor's appointments. He's been with me through that accident. He's been with me through the beginning of my time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's a punishment, but I think he's molding me to reshape my life. And I just feel that there's more that's going to come out of this experience for me. Like I said to you, I'm not looking for empathy or anybody to feel sorry for me, or I'm merely sharing because I want to help somebody out there, and it's based on time, because if you don't have time, you don't have money, So I think that's the main reason that I'd like to share the story.
You speak about your Creator, that at the time you sort of put him on the side. At that time,
yes,
right, and you were focused more on the money. Getting money, spending and getting money.
Yes.
And then the money, obviously, money finishes. Like, money comes and goes.
Yes.
But when was that moment whereby you can see that now, like, okay, the money is getting finished?
Yes. That moment was in 2023. 2023, I was already into my investment that I invested. I unlocked that investment.
Yeah.
That money went quicker than the first lot, and the first lot was less than I had. The investment money was the majority of the money, right? So the investment money went much quicker than the money that I said I'm going to use to buy my ABCs and towards April 2023, that's when like reality hit me, and I was deep into what I was doing already, trying to make money various ways and stuff like that. I was also borrowing money to people but large amounts, but reliable sources, people that was also gambling, that I met in casinos and stuff like that. So there was that contacts that I had met. But there was sincerity amongst those people. That's why I say I was quite shocked, from strangers and stuff like that. And they were borrowing large amounts of money, more than the money that my sister had borrowed. But it was given back to me, I had my strategies of when borrowing somebody out to make sure that it comes back, Sometimes somebody would leave their keys with me or that type of thing. So I had some, I had a resource of them to keep on, to hold on to, more like a pawn type of thing. When somebody pawns something, yes. So, like I say, there was more loyalty from strangers than from people that I expected, like my brother and sister, from my mom,
Yeah. Tell me, how's your relationship now with your creator?
It's more intense, I think. Sometimes, not sometimes, I do get distracted and stuff. But now at work especially, with me working a construction job, there's a lot of challenges that arise at work. People speak out of turn sometimes, not to me, but to each other, especially when we're under pressure with work. And over the last 2 weeks, since the time I'm working there until now, I haven't experienced like bad treatment from employees and stuff. We have been under a lot of pressure in the last 2 weeks. There were 1 or 2 scenarios where people got angry, but I brushed it off with a joke instead, which wasn't the brightest thing to do, because it actually, how do I put it to you, it angered that person more, and I realized now that if I was still the old person, I would have probably lost my job, because I would have fought, and I was taught violence, that's how you solve anything, is in violence. And now that I brushed it off with a joke, I realized that we did take hands, even though I wasn't the one that was wrong, but in that type of scenario, I realized that, humility is everything, As much as I wasn't wrong in that scenario and stuff, I brushed it off with a joke. And that person actually came to apologize to me before I did, And I realized that sometimes you just have to give certain situations time. Even if you're angry and they're angry and you can't get to the bottom of it, walk away, Sometimes a joke isn't the easiest way to brush it off. Somebody else might take offense and you might
escalate,
Yeah, it might escalate, correct, sir. So it's what I'm reading, I don't apply it. Like I said to you, I'm new in this walk. Sometimes I also forget that I have to apply what I'm reading, And in that case, I've seen that maybe a joke wasn't the best way, but anger wouldn't have been a way to, but at least I got a handshake out of that, and through a joke, by brushing it off with a joke. So you asked me with my walk in Christ now, it's not happening as fast as it should, but like I said to you earlier on, it's all based on us, God already did what he had to do for us. That was the ultimate sacrifice when he went upon the cross, So it's from my side, I just need to start applying myself more and reading more, And I keep myself busy with movies, weekends and stuff, so that my mind is not constantly, I think about these 2 people more than anything. My brother and my sister, they're the biggest, I don't want to call them names and stuff, but they're the biggest obstacles that I'm having challenges with myself, forgiveness. Like there's nobody that's hurt me the way they've hurt me,
I think you'll be fine, man. I think you are okay.
Thank you, thank you.
And I think the Lord will continue to deal with you. Continue to read the Word. Continue to pray. The Lord is always listening. He's always listening, So like I said, if you continue to release them, the Lord will bring new things to you.
Amen. I'm with you.
Do you get?
Yes.
So I believe that there will be a certain point whereby you will totally forgive these people and move on with your life. And the Lord will release new things to you. But I thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Justice.
Your story is so much inspiring to me.
Thank you, my
You
brother.
taught me so much about money. What you spoke about is something that I'm very much aware of.
Okay.
When you become a millionaire, people around you now change. Their character changes.
Yes, yes.
And you need to figure out a way to mitigate or maneuver around that.
yes.
You know.
Yes, I'm with you.
So yeah, but
I
thank you,
appreciate
my
it,
brother. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you, Justice.
Thank you for making time and to speak to us, to inspire other people.
Yes,
I hope also your family, your brother or your sister are going to watch this.
Yes.
This is not to speak bad about them.
Correct.
This is just to speak your truth, to speak about how you feel, about what happened to
Correct.
you.
And also to enlighten others, you know. That's probably in the same type of walk, or they're probably waiting for it. Whatever the case may be, where money and time is concerned, I want to just reach out and help somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and just manage your time right. It's very important. You know, time is always before money.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we've been here in time before. We knew about money. You know, so I think it's just me sharing about time. You know, that's what I want to share and help somebody.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming, my brother.
Thank you, Justice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.